So I'm going to turn the presentation over to Dr. Ondek, our superintendent, who's going to introduce the topic and our speakers for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Pusateri. It's my pleasure tonight to join with a team of experts who have been for many, many months guiding the decision-making process that this board has engaged in. Mr. Pusateri laid outstanding groundwork. I'm going to attempt to step us through some of the history leading up to where we are tonight in some greater detail, but certainly along the same points that Dave has just made. Just to give you a brief history of the Quaker Valley High School, it was built in 1926. In 1956, it became the Quaker Valley School District, and therefore the Quaker Valley High School at what had been the Leedsdale High School. And the Sewickley High School became what is now our Quaker Valley Middle School. In 1988, there were some upgrades to the gymnasium and cafeteria. And in 1998, some renovations and minor additions to the facility occurred. Those were Band-Aids. Those did get us some extended life. Those were attempts to remain in the current facility. And now, nearly 100 years later, we're looking at some longer-term solutions to take us hopefully into the next century. In 2004, a parking lot was added, turf was added to the field. Now, this isn't everything that has happened over the last many years, but these are some highlights of some efforts on the part of many boards and many administrative teams over the course of many, many years to address the facility needs of the high school. In 1966, there was consideration given to a rural K-12 campus within the confines of this school district. That attempt failed. But in 1993, the Quaker Valley School District's strategic plan outlined a facilities plan in great detail for all of its facilities, the 2 elementary schools, the middle school, and the current high school. In the 2009-10 school year, the district opted to invest in the middle school prior to the high school. There was great decision-making, processing going on throughout that whole period. The high school was viewed as being really in need of attention, in some ways more need than the middle school, but the decision was made to invest first in the middle school, and what an outstanding job was done there. That is now behind us, and the high school remains in need of attention. So in 14-15, the visioning process began. It had been many years since we had engaged our entire community in the process of re-envisioning a future for our schools. And that process helped us to define a shared vision, a shared mission, and core belief statements that would lead to the decision-making around the high school facility. In 2015, the board engaged a demographer to conduct a demographic study. Before any facility renovation is done in any schools, public schools, that's essential to take a look at the population trends impacting our school population, and so that we don't over or underbuild into the next, what could be 100 years. An engineering, architect, and geotechnical studies were conducted and reports were provided in 2016, and in September of 2016, based on all of the expert input of many individuals who are here with us tonight will also be speaking, the board made the determination that the current high school site is impractical and not worthy of long-term investment. And also in 2016, we began a process of education planning and engaged brain spaces in Maya design. And the thinking there is that the vision of the school district, the beliefs around teaching and learning should drive the ultimate design of a facility. Some school communities involve architects in that process first. And the expert advice that we received, that we've realized already has paid off in huge dividends, is to contemplate first what is teaching and learning to look like, and what is it that we envision well into the future. And that and those ideals ought to drive the ultimate planning of a school facility. We also engage legal counsel and a real estate broker, and they're here tonight to discuss with you in greater detail the roles that they played in getting us to this point. So as you can see, there was great investment in 2006 and 7 in our 2 elementary schools, Edgeworth and Osborne elementary schools, and then most recently, as I mentioned, in 2012, the middle school underwent a significant renovation. The limitations of our current high school site are extensive. The educational limitations, to put it just very generally, are 2 issues. One is the current facility that is less than 14 acres, impedes practices in teaching and learning, and fails to align to our shared vision and mission. I can give plenty of examples as to what that means, but to the credit of our faculty, some of whom are here this evening, and our students, there is a lot of terrific teaching and learning going on that is research-based, that aligns with our vision and mission. Teachers are making great opportunities happen, but it's not without tremendous effort, and it is evident every day that there are barriers to more progressive practices that we would like to be able to provide for our students. And the space literally gets in the way of some of that. And we're learning that as we work with our education consultants, that we are, in some aspects, a little more stuck in traditional practices than we'd like to be. We have teachers who are eager and willing to try best practices, and at times the facility itself and the space in which we teach and learn gets in the way. And the current facility is inadequate to meet the educational needs for the next 100 years. We know that. It's limiting now, and it will only continue to become more so. The building limitations, the sort of brick and mortar barriers to that restrict what it is we'd like to do are plenty. The current high school is not fully ADA compliant, and this plays out in parking spaces, restrooms, seating areas, access to facilities, as we see whenever there's a program like this morning at the high school for plays and different events, sporting events and so forth. The building repairs, some of them were mentioned tonight, the parapet, the fire escape, are very costly and continue to burden us financially and otherwise. The current HVAC system is antiquated and extremely costly to ensure proper air quality. We've had to install numerous window air conditioning units to mitigate the humidity, to maintain healthy air quality, and that's being done at great expense. The campus does not meet parking, traffic, and pedestrian needs. All one has to do is drive into campus in the morning as buses are unloading and parents are dropping off and students are walking across campus, and it's quite a sight. The existing roofing, doors, windows, flooring, etc., all of the mechanicals and food service facility are at the end of their service life. So we maintain operationally, but at great cost. There are no automatic building controls for lighting, HVAC, or security, which means higher energy costs to operate that building. The major electrical systems are beyond their service life. Most are original and are approaching 3 times their estimated lifespan. Much of the current roofing system is beyond its lifespan and has multiple failures which need to be mitigated by our maintenance team, and creates other problems, as you can imagine, when you have a roof leak to your interior of the building. Hydrostatic pressure, which is really just water finding its way up into the foundation and into the flooring, is costly to mitigate and has resulted in some unusable spaces. So we have quite a bit of square footage in that building. As small as it already is, we have spaces we cannot use. The current high school cannot be segmented during special events or after school hours, creating some security challenges. So high schools in the era that we live in are often used as community centers for all sorts of events. And we like to open our doors for all kinds of reasons to our community. But the inability to close off certain areas really do limit what we can do for the community and or opening our doors for all sorts of activities and events. We've